Right, I think perhaps we'll just get started now. So hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. In today's session, we are focusing on Vietnam as a source country for Canadian institutions, particularly how Vietnamese students have responded to Canada's policy changes and what institutions looking to recruit from Vietnam need to be aware of amidst the changing environment as we prepare for the new recruitment cycle. My name is Michelle, and I'm joined today by our in-country expert, Anh Thu, who is the destination manager for IDP Vietnam based in Hanoi. Hi, Thu. On
Hi,
the next,
everyone.
yeah. On the next slide, we've shared all the ways that you can connect with Thu following this webinar. At IDP, we love to hear from our partners, so please don't be shy in reaching out for a conversation. Next slide, please. I'm going to start off with a few housekeeping items, followed by a quick refresher on IDP's reach and scope, as you can see here on the map. I will hand it over to Thu for her to take us through her valuable insights right after I talk about IDP's reach and scope. I do want to thank our audience for sending in your questions. We have tried to incorporate all of them into the content of our slide deck today. But following Thu's presentation, we will break out into a Q&A format and cover any remaining questions as well as take additional ones from our live audience. So please feel free to use the chat box to send us any questions that you would like Thu to answer. And as always, a copy of the slide deck as well as the recording will be shared with all registrants following this webinar. All right, so, customary introduction to IDP. This map that you're seeing on the slide here is showing the scale and scope of IDP's global reach. Now, as a leading international student placement provider, IDP offers on-the-ground recruitment support across 35 countries to over 800 institutions worldwide. Over 2,000 IDP counselors currently provide free-of-cost admissions counseling services to international students who are looking to study across the top English-speaking six English-speaking destinations that are highlighted here in the lighter blue color. And this includes New Zealand and Ireland. In addition, IDP also runs a digital network of 30+ connected websites in several languages, as well as the IDP Live app, which give our partners digital exposure to prospective audiences across the world. So for those of you who may not be aware, IDP is also a co-owner of the International English Language Testing System, better known as IELTS. Next slide, please. So here I have IDP's 3 pillars of strategic support that are available for our institutional partners. In addition to the in-market recruitment support that I just spoke about, IDP offers a variety of digital marketing products and solutions to boost institutional visibility and branding across global markets. We also have a full research team that curates data dashboards to drive a better understanding of price and program positioning, as well as bespoke consultancies to enable institutions with evidence-based strategy development and decision-making. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so what we're looking at on this slide is a view of Vietnamese search demand trends over the last 12+ months. These trends have been mined from the behaviors of Vietnamese students that are exploring IDP Hot Courses websites. So prospective students searching on our platforms are typically looking to commence their studies anywhere between 12 to 36 months from the date of their search, which makes this data forward-looking. As a reminder, IDP core partners can access these data trends at any time by signing into the partner portal. Now, as you can see from the graph, since January 2024, there are no major peaks or troughs that we see with regards to prospective Vietnamese students searching for higher educational options in Canada. You could say that any decline for Canada has been relatively moderate. In contrast, if you look at Australia, which is represented by the yellow line, we see a significant decline between January and September 2024, while the UK has gained significant search demand share, since September 2024. So, this is just a quick reminder that these trends are derived from IDP hot courses traffic only and can be cross-referenced with other web traffic sources as well. But the main takeaway from this slide is that demand for Canada, search demand for Canada, continues to remain relatively stable for Vietnamese students, which is a good thing. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide, which is also my final slide before I hand it over. So this chart here is plotting Vietnamese study permit approvals from 2015 to 2024. This data is sourced from the IRCC website. And it gives us a view of the total market size for Canadian institutions over time. So between 2016 and 2018, as you can see, the introduction of the CES visa program in Vietnam resulted in a boost for Vietnamese students coming to Canada. Then, with the replacement of CES with STS in 2018, followed by the pandemic in 2020, we saw Vietnamese study permit volumes drop. Since then, market size for Canada has remained more or less stable, and it will be interesting to see what the study permit volumes post-STS cancellation back in November look like for early 2025. This data has not yet been released by the IRCC on their website, although Thu does have an interesting update to share on study permits later on in this session. So with that, I will pass it over to the star of our show. Thu, take it away.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending webinar. And my name is Thu, Country Destination Manager of Vietnam. And for you to easy to remember my name, you can call me like number 2. Yeah. So next slide, please. So I would like to introduce you about the Vietnam team in number. So you can see in the screen, we have the map of Vietnam, and we have offices in 7 cities, and with the 14 offices across of Vietnam. And you can see in the south of Vietnam, we have 4 offices in Ho Chi Minh City. And Ho Chi Minh City, you can compare them to like the Toronto of Canada in terms of population and economics. And most of the students, the biggest student will come from Ho Chi Minh City, and we have 4 offices there. And the second location for Vietnam, Miss student is Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. We have 3 offices. And in the central of Vietnam, we have Da Nang. I know that maybe many of you have visited there because they are very famous for the tourism. And other smaller province, we have 1 offices like Hai Phong City, Vinh City, Nha Trang City, and Cần Thơ cities. We also have 2 offices, 2 virtual offices in the north and the south of Vietnam that we start open since during the pandemic. This office will take care of the small province that we don't have office there. So now we have 50 counselors in charge of North America, US, and Canada. So if you have not visited Vietnam, I would like to invite you to visit and let me know. I want to invite you to visit some of our office and meet our counselor. Next slide, please. So I think that it's very hot topic now because I had a great few weeks to meet with many of your college, travel from Canada to Vietnam during the time for exhibition. And I received most of your questions about the policy change in 2024, whether it have how the Vietnamese respond. So actually last year we have a lot of change. And for PAL, for CAF, for open work permit and off-campus hour, working hour have had limited impact on Vietnamese students when they considering to choose Canada. Because first of all, I have to thank you for all of you to have very quick action and have the very easy process to provide the PAL for the student and not giving the CAF for Vietnamese students. So that make our market, our Asian and our Vietnam feel very Yeah, very appreciative about that. So in terms of the restriction on the SPO open work permit, IDP Vietnam have limited impact because most of our students are single. So they have no SPO, so they don't have to considering about that. And about the working hours, most of our students still try to keep balancing between work and studying, so that the work is only one, not no, the restriction is just impact a little bit for them, not the student really not really care about that. Next slide, please. Yeah, and this one have a very big impact on Vietnamese students. It is about the restriction on PGWB program, because you know that before the college segment sector is very big in Vietnam and also big for IDP. And this slide, I want to talk about the study sector. And you can see in the screen, we have two circles on the left-hand side, the study sector for 2023 and 24 academic year. And in the right-hand side, we have the applicants from November 24 to February 25 for this is number from IDP Vietnam, and I have just do the analytics about that. So you can see here that between college and university, 50% decline in share of application to a Canadian college. It declined from 71% to 42% for college. And for university, the student now more have the trend to choose university more than college, and increase from 29% to 58%. And next slide, please. Yeah, and this one, I'm going to talk about the study level, and you can see in the slide, in the right-hand side, the circle is about the 2023 and 24 academic year, and in the right-hand side, the study level from November to February 25, and you can see that you can see in the orange color show the bachelor degree. So the bachelor degree increased from 22% to 36%. You can see in the dark blue that talk about the diploma. It decreased from 33% to 27%, together with postgraduate certificate and diploma decreased from 21% to 8% in the in the blue, yeah, lighter blue. And for and for master degree, you can see in the light blue, they are increased from 7% to 10%. So it's quite clear to see that the decision of the student is changing very quickly to adapt for the restriction postgraduate program. So next slide, I will going to talk about the I think that the major. I think that I have one slide about the major. Yeah, thank you. So it is about the subject area when students do choose to study. When I go look deeply into the data, and I see that for the diploma, most of the students choosing to study science, technology, or the program that eligible for the PGWP. And when I look to the bachelor degree or master degree, more students studying about, I mean, not more, but I see a lot of students studying business, management, commerce, and related for business services. Yeah, so that the outcome, the science and applied science, technology, engineering have the biggest student to choose in total with 39%. Before, the top major, the top subject area are business and management. Yeah, so now business and management going to the second place. And then computers and computing and IT also go have reduced the number of students choosing. I don't know the reason by the data, but based on the question from the student, many of them worry about the replacement of the AI now, and get the less job about the computing and computer in the future. Yeah. And next slide, please. So now, when we talk to the student, we will know that what they are caring about at, uh, at this time. So for the student, I think that there are some type of student. Some of them who may looking for the location. They come to IDP and said, "Hey, I want to go to some big city. I want to somewhere to have a friendly immigration, or I want to somewhere have a very good weather." So they based on the location. And for many other students, they were looking for the quality of education, good school, good university, good colleges, and maybe the ranking. And they would base on the like some type of like ranking or review on the social media or the feedback of friends and family. So and then they can apply for many institutions from Ontario or BC or Alberta. It depends on the quality. And then they will, after get the offer, they can give the decision later. And of course, and for financial affordability and postgraduate outcome for all the student. All the student want to study at some location, have job opportunities, or the school that can help them to have enough skill and co-op program to get the job after graduation. And financial is very important for Vietnam, because you know that Vietnam, even people rich or not rich, they still caring about the cost, and scholarship will be helpful for them, very attract Vietnamese students, and also the living cost, the living costs are affordable, also attractive for them. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is a question that I think that I have used to be asked during the time last few weeks in Vietnam, that how can the lesser ranked institution located in the tier 2 cities attract Vietnamese students? And for me, I think that we have many ways to attract Vietnamese students, because we see many of you have a middle ranking and located in tier 2 city, but very popular in Vietnam. And the first one, that you have a very good counselor training. You can do maybe virtually with a very good topic, or you every time you visit Vietnam, you try to engage to visit our office as much as possible, or you have the local rep in Vietnam to have the training frequently. Yeah. And the second thing is scholarship. Scholarship, as I mentioned, always attract the students, because scholarship not only help them to save the cost, but also help the student, the parent, to be proud of the children, and also show up that people in Vietnam think that, hey, this school, this institution have high scholarship. It means that they are the very good student institution, because only good institution can give the very big amount of scholarship, something like that. Yeah. And the next one, of course, fast processing time will be helpful, because now many school can have the very fast time in very fast in processing time, and also the visa processing time in Vietnam is very long now. I will share with you in the next slide. But now I'm going to talk about another thing very important that about Zalo. Many of you may very often use WhatsApp, but in Vietnam, most of every people have Zalo, student, parents, and counselor. So we, if you can have someone to engage with the counselor and even student or especially counselor through Zalo to support them pre-enrollment conversation like before application or solve the issue or give any question during apply for the letter offer or PAL or any document that necessary to submit for the study permit. Yeah. And next about the application fee waiver will be always helpful for the students. And of course, if you can, please attend IDP event frequently. Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, so I want to share with you that what type of marketing message that Vietnamese students want to hear. I have collect here our posts on the social media that have a good attraction. I mean that have a very good view on the social media. So you can see it have most of them are in Vietnamese. All of them are in Vietnamese, not in English. So the reason why we use Vietnamese is the English doesn't work to attract the the view on our social media. So we have to use Vietnamese and it show more uh, attractive. And you can see that I have two lines. You can see that in the first line I have four picture, and I will tell you about the first one from the left hand side. It's talk about the seminar, invite the student to go to our seminar and event and exhibition to meet with the IRCC to update about the study permit. Yeah, and because we have IRCC attend our fair in the last few years, and they also attend um, our exhibition in Hải Phòng, Hanoi, and Ho Chi Minh City. The next one is talk about the update about the new policy about the work permit in postgraduate work permit in Canada. The update policy. The third one is talking about 100%. You can see the 100% and 50 plus. It means that we have the 50 plus institution have scholarship and up to 100%. And when we run this advertisement, it shows a great impact because before, when people are talking about Canada, they're just talking about the working immigration. But not many people talking about the scholarship. So we run this for more than a year, and students still very curious and engaged with this post. And of course, they can download the list. Yeah. And the next one is talking about the career, the segment, because you know that now when the new policy about the PGWP limited for college segment, so many colleges that send to us the news and the about the one major or one subject that have good opportunity in the future. So we choose that one and we post on our social media, and many students want to learn more about that. And the next one in the second line, we have the TikTok, the short video of the two student and counselor talking about Canada, about the scholarship. Yeah, and the next one you can see that we have three students that they got the scholarship, and you can see that we write them high school name in the bottom, and we have the number, the amount of scholarship, and you can see here we have two students have $180,000 for York University. Actually, last year we have three students get this scholarship in the total of 20 slots for all over the world. So we are very proud of that because yeah, our team really happy about that because we can have that we can have the very first time that we have the three students get this scholarship from York, and we also shared the news to their high school, Chu Van An High School or Sư Phạm High School in Vietnam, and the teacher and the principal was very proud of them, and they shared the news to the other class, other teacher. So of course, I believe that this year they have more application because many of other students want to have this scholarship and continue to apply. Yeah, and the next one we have the scholarship from the Alberta. This year we have 4 students got the president scholarship from Alberta University, and we're so proud because in the last year we only have 1 student, but now we have 4 students, and when we posted new on the Facebook, we have so many questions. We received so many questions from the student to asking for, yeah, and they are so excited about that. And besides that, we have a lot of scholarship from many universities, like in even the U15 or comprehensive university, or even we have many scholarship from colleges. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, so now I want to talk that how can your institution support for IDP Vietnam, yeah, to be grow the Canada destination. We need your support because you know that now many of our news on Vietnam talking about the government of Canada changing their policy, and the many students feeling that many students thinking that Canada is now closing for I don't want to welcome the student. So that's why I think that you please keep attend IDP event or visit Vietnam in your to show that the student that you still want more Vietnamese student to come, and you know that your neighbor, we have Australian institution. They also have the same situation with Canada for since maybe 1 year before, when they have many restriction policy on cap on visa, but the institutions still keep promote for scholarship by event to show for the all the students that they have effort to have them to Australia. So I think that opinion institution we should do that to keep invite the student. Yeah. So and I think that for the training is also very important because now for the colleges we need a training about the major, because many major that you have eligible for PGWP not really popular in Vietnam because, for example, the people in Vietnam maybe they don't know what major is studying and what the outcome, what is the career in the future, and even some of them don't think that if they study this major when they go back Vietnam, whether they have a good outcome, a good future in Vietnam or not. So if that would be great if you can share the job opportunity in both Canada and in Vietnam in case that they have to go back in Vietnam. Yeah, and also for university, I think that keep talking about all the major because you open for all the sector. And one more thing, I think that related to the marketing material, Many of you go to my office and asking that, hey, I have a very brochure, very beautiful brochure, very thick one with many pages, and I know that you have to pay a lot of money for that to printing. Yeah. So, but my suggestion is you just only need one page of uh, a flyer to summary all the key information in that one page. You can do online, digital one, or you can print. If you print, it also save a lot of money. Or if you bring it to travel, it will be very much more easier. And we found that very helpful and very effective because many of institutions, not only from Canada but also from the US, Australia, do the same, and very. I think we found that it's very useful. Yeah, and the next one, as I mentioned before, download the Zalo for everyday communication with counselor. We mentioned that everyday communication because that that sometimes the counselor are very shy to sending you an email to ask a very small question. So if you have Zalo, they will not feel shy and they will send the message day by day. And we used to have some institution that they have don't have the local staff at that time, but they have a staff in Canada. And in the daytime of Vietnam, our counselor send the message via Zalo, and then we will not have the response in the next 12 hours. But in the next day, when the daytime of Canada, we receive the response, and we are so happy about that. Yeah, and we have that's why this school have increased the number of application. Yeah, and please share the official update via email. But please remember that the email should be very short and sharp information. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so that one, as I mentioned that we would like to invite you to attend our event in 2025. I know that we have just finished the event in January and March, and now we are going to have the roadshow and admission day in May, July, and October. So the May have very affordable price. However, the July and October has bigger exhibition, higher price, but attract more students. So in October, we have the confirm from IRCC that they will attend our fair to have a booth there. So I think that is the way that we want to show you the IRC sharing that they really want to engage with the student to bring the right decision from the the correct information for the student and parents. Yeah, I think that we still have one slide not to talk about the visa successful rate.
Yes, I think it's slide 13.
Yeah. So I want to share with you that yesterday I have a very I was very so happy because I have the deputy minister of the Saskatchewan province visit our office in Hanoi, and we have a very good meeting feedback, and then we attend the Saskatchewan event to promote about the education in Saskatchewan, and they invite IRCC to attend to have a seminar with us. And IRCC share with us that now they receive a lot of like not good visa application. So the visa successful rate is very low, only 50%. And in the screen, you can see in the green, the visa successful rate of IDP now before the SDS cancellation. It means that before November 24, we have 96% of visa successful rate. So we are so proud of that. So for the after SDF cancellation, we don't have the number yet because we don't have the outcome of the application. Don't have the number. So but in our we hope that we can receive 90% of successful rate after SDF cancellation. One more thing about the visa processing time, study permit processing time. Now in Vietnam, this week, 15 weeks for study permit processing time compared with 4 weeks for SDF before. And yesterday, I also have give the question to IRCC that why is so long now? And they explained for me that before the SDF, when with the SDF application, they will process in Canada, but now on the and for the regular study permit will process in Vietnam, and now all of them, because no more FDS, so all of them will process in Vietnam. So they have more workload and so have so many application. And you know that with SDS, people still pay the GIC and 1 year of full year of tuition fee. But now for the regular stream, many of financial document, many of real estate, housing, and other things they have to review. So that's why the time is so long. So that's why I think that giving if you should aware of that. Maybe I think that if you have chance to talk with IRCC about that, please give them the feedback that when we can go back to the SDF, that will be helpful for us. Yeah. So I think that this is
Yes,
I think that's part of my presentation now.
That's right. Perfect. Thanks, Thu. Thank you so much for all your insights today. So that does bring us to the end of the formal slide deck. But as I mentioned earlier, we will now break into a Q&A session. So these are, again, some of the questions that we had received from registrants that we've included here. We'll go through them one by one. Then we also have a bunch of questions that have come in through the chat box. So hopefully we have time to get through all of them today. So without further ado, Thu, let me ask you the first question. Can you please talk a little bit about the education system in Vietnam, specifically high school? Why are courses like math or biology not being taught? Are they not being taught, or what is happening? Why don't students have these subjects?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, this is very interesting question that the education in Vietnam are quite have a 12 grade, and before they are quite similar and quite easier for Canadian university and colleges to do the assessment. But since 2023, the Vietnamese education system have just changed a little bit from the grade 10, 11, and 12 that the student can choose the elective subjects during their study. The math, literature is a compulsory subject, but biology is not a compulsory. So student can choose between a group of subject like science or social science or technology. So that's why we also receive some question from university that, hey, this student want to apply for computer science, but they only in their transcript only have math, literature, geography, and nothing related to the science. So that's why the the student should choose the right subject when they have the target major in for the university. So that why I think that we before normally the student should often engage with us 18 to 12 before 24 months before the before studying time. But now I think that they should increase to 38 months, it means 3 years, when they have to give the decision to choose which subject they have to study.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is, what are the main barriers for Vietnamese students when it comes to choosing Canada as a study destination? What's holding them back?
Yeah, so I think that with the situation now, there are many barrier for the student, and the first one is a postgraduate work permit that many of like many of for example for the college sector, many of students that only afford for 2 years of studying for diploma, but now they want to study like business or some accounting, for example, and they cannot afford for the tuition fee for 4 years at university. So that's why they have to change their plan. They can
Mm.
stay in Vietnam to study or change the destination. And and another barrier is about the study permit. Because now we have no SDN, and you know that Vietnamese, maybe many Vietnamese family, they have enough of money and even very rich, but they cannot show their source of income to prove that they can pay for their children, so they cannot get the visa, the study permit. So that is one thing that stopped them. And we see that many students now switching to the US because the US not require financial document to get the visa. Just go fill out an application and then attend a visa interview, and they don't need to show the source of income. Yeah. So I think that if you have chance to talk with IRCC, can you raise up that have support Vietnamese student to have them easier in the policy regarding to the PGWP and also about the study permit.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So the next question is, what is the typical English proficiency level of Vietnamese students, especially at IDP? Do we see a lot of direct entry or pathway? Like, yeah, can you speak to that?
Yeah. So for IDP, we have only 5% of students studying English and foundation. It means that most of the 90% of the student studying go directly to the program. It means that their English are very good. It's for IDP Vietnam and for Vietnam general. Now, so they many and many of the English level of Vietnamese students are increasing very fast. It shows that because IDP also the co-owner of the IELTS, so we know that we have so many every year. We have more and more students get high IELTS score
Mm.
from 6.5, or even 7 and 8. Yeah, compared with before, we just have not many.
Okay, great. The next question is, do Vietnamese parents play a big role in their child's decision-making on which destination, program, and institution that they're going to apply to?
Yeah, so I think that Vietnamese parents play a significant role in their child decision making. But now, in the recent years, we saw that the young generation are gaining more autonomy, and especially that the parent give their children the right to choose and to give the decision to where they want to go, which major they want to study. So everything we see the changing now.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the last question on this slide, and then we'll move over to the questions that have come through the chat today. So the question is, does IDP have any strategies to recruit students from the pool of government officials that are currently impacted by the ongoing political restructure in Vietnam? So I believe a lot of people are losing jobs and looking for ways
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. That is happening in Vietnam, that many people losing job. Actually, the government official lose their job. For example, teacher or the maybe police and yeah, in the many of them. So I think that is a very difficult question for us. Actually, IDP, we don't have the specific strategy for this group, but as we do the research at that, this group have the already have bachelor degree. They are working now, so it means that they will look if they have they can mind thinking about changing the country, or they go into somewhere to studying, so they will have to looking for the master degree or looking for the postgraduate program. So I think that it will be the same with the general strategy of as I mentioned before, that for postgraduate program, talking try to give them all the information about the major that help them to have job in Canada, and for master degree. So I think that the with the institution have the it would be a good opportunity for the institution have the master program with the not too high entry requirement. Why I say high entry requirement? Because many of master degree in Canada require students have 79 years, have the GPA from uh, 3, 3.0 and or B. So it's very difficult for the Z people. So for the most of them, because they're working for a long time and maybe they have family, they have limited time to study English now. So maybe 6.5 would be better, or even many program they have foundation program for or pre-master program would be helpful for them to get the offer. Yeah, so
Great.
I think that it means that I think that have a lot of opportunities, and but the same, we don't have the specific. Yeah.
Specific strategy. All right, great. Thanks, Thu. So moving into the next set of questions, how do Vietnamese students feel about studying at an English institution in a primarily Francophone province like Quebec? Do we see demands?
Oh, yeah. You mean that regarding to the speaking English speaking country?
No, English-speaking institution, but
Okay, I
in
see.
a
Yeah.
French-speaking province like Quebec.
Actually, because now in Vietnam, most of Vietnamese students study English, and they are
Mhm,
focused on English since they are at primary school.
mhm.
And of course, we have a very minor of students study French in Vietnam. So that's why most of the students looking for the English
Yeah,
institution. Yeah.
but
However,
you,
sometimes we
Mhm.
still receive the inquiry from the student want to study in Quebec uh, in English program, and some of them looking for the English program in Quebec, and they are ready to study more about like study English during the time in Canada. Yeah,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
I don't see that many
Mm.
promotion about Quebec in Vietnam now.
Right, right. I don't think institutions have historically, or at least in IDP's experience, been very active
Yeah,
um, in reaching out to students from Francophone provinces.
yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. This is with reference to the information we had shared on slide 15. So can you please emphasize the difference between location and postgraduate outcomes? From your description, it looks like there's an overlap between location and postgraduate outcomes. The bigger cities have better postgraduate outcomes. Can you sort of speak to that a little bit again? When Vietnamese students look for location and they look for postgraduate outcomes, is it related? Or is it the same thing?
Oh yeah. It's very interesting question, I think. Um, I think that it's quite related. But most, I mean that every student looking for the postgraduate outcome, even they're looking for the big city or small city.
Mhm.
Yeah, but because they invest money so they want something to return. Even they want to immigrate to Canada, or they go back Vietnam, but they need some working experience after graduate um, in after graduation. So that's why the postgraduate always important for them. So I saw many institutions, of course, in big city, people talking about, hey, this big city so have a lot of job. But for the small city, people still talking that, hey, it not many job at big city, but we don't have many people to fill up the job. So you still have a lot of opportunities. So let's talking about the how you support for the student to get the
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. I think again, this kind of goes back to the whole, sharing success stories of your graduates, of current students who are in co-op programs, just sending that messaging out there. And I
Yeah.
think I'm going to just throw in there as well the power of peer-to-peer communication. I mean, I think maybe you can speak to this. Do Vietnamese students like to hear from Vietnamese students studying
Yeah.
in Canada? Do they like to hear from them? Is that messaging better
Of
received?
course,
Yeah.
Of course, they want to hear from Vietnamese, because you know that if sometimes you're talking about the successful of India student or Philippines student or Singapore
Mm,
student, people will think that, hey, they are English speaking country. Of course, they can get job better than us. We are not an English speaking country, so we want to hear that the successful story of Vietnamese students. And you know
mhm.
that for Vietnamese students, they think that, like, you know, we prefer
Yeah.
the real story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, authentic. Right. So a related question just came in. What about smaller towns, very small towns like 3,500 to 5,000 people? Have you seen any interest, or do we see Vietnamese students opting for institutions in such locations?
Yeah, I think that's a very great question. I have used to looking for our data very deeply, that to see that how about the small colleges or university at a very like a very small town, and we see that we have students to go there, but they most of them looking for the postgraduate program or master program. It means that
Mm,
that's why we see that, because with the younger age, like after graduate from high school, they feel risky if they go to somewhere that they don't know anyone or not many people, or
mhm,
unless they have friend or family there. But for the student who like already have bachelor degree, they have enough of living experience, they know that they have not many opportunity, and they have limited budget. So that's why they
mhm.
study and they choose the like
They,
small
yeah, they
community.
broaden their,
Yeah,
criteria,
yeah.
like their
So
search.
and they think that it will be have more opportunity for them to
Mm,
have job
mm,
or immigration opportunities. Yeah. So I think that if your school, your institution based on the location, please tell us more detail. For example, don't tell that how many people, because the student cannot compare how many
mm,
people, but you can see that the district, how many people in a district of Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, and then you compare to your town, and you can compare that, hey, our town is the same size with one
mm,
of your district only, so you will
mm.
have more support, so everyone know everyone, so the teacher know everyone in the classroom, so and even you don't have many of Vietnamese students there, so you don't have chance to speak Vietnamese, so your English will improve very fast, for example. Yeah.
Great. That's a great answer. Thank you. So there's a few other questions. I'm going to do a rapid fire through, try to be as quick as possible in answering them. So in addition to TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, which you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
as promotional platforms, are there any other platforms that are widely used in Vietnam?
Yeah. Now, so for the most popular in Vietnam now, Facebook, because IDP also run a lot of advertisement on many social media,
Mm-hmm.
and we found that Facebook can attract
Mm-hmm.
the most
Most.
viewer. And then we have Instagram and TikTok, and also we have some other like YouTube
YouTube.
and Google Ads. and Google,
Google Ads.
like do SEO, Google searching, organic searching, or add on the Google. Yeah, another thing we have like Thumb X and very smaller, but yeah, we still have, but not many. But for Vietnam, IDP Vietnam, we approach all of the channel.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next one, do we have a guide on how our partners can use Zello? Do we have a guide, something we can share with them?
Yeah. I think that it's very easy that you go to the Google app or iOS App Store to download the Zalo, and then you need a number to install it. And for the detail, actually, I'm not sure because we are in Vietnam and we don't need to do anything. Yeah, we just have Zalo and we automatically connect with the people. We have the number in the phone. So it's very easier for us. But I'm not sure that when you are overseas, when you are in overseas, you can do that or not. But I know that many of the foreigner they use Zalo and answer as fast as Vietnamese people.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So,
we have many good example from some U.S. institution and also Canada institution rep that don't located in Vietnam, but they only use Zalo to engage with the counselor, and the number still growing very fast and not different with the student with the institution have the local rep in Vietnam. So, but not many people like that. Yeah,
okay,
must be
great.
work very hard with that. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So another question, Thu. What specific commitments can IDP offer to long-standing partner institutions to address the challenge of application conversion despite consistent event participation? So clients who have been supporting us at IDP by participating at IDP Vietnam events, but continue to see their conversion dropping or not growing. You know, why? What can IDP do to support those kinds of clients?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I'm really every year I often review all the performance of your institution and see that when you attend our event and fair and see the number, and then that why sometimes I keep request IDP Connect, and even I'm keep talking with the local rep that I need your support together with participate our event, please do more training with us, engage with our counselor to give them more knowledge and other things. So this is, and sometimes I try to meet up with you every year during the time you travel to Vietnam or when you visit our office to have more discussion about that, like how your what you should promote from your institution, because sometimes we know that you have a lot of strength point, but you promote all of them. So sometimes it's not too overwhelming for people. You can pick up some key point to make people and students to remember easily. Yeah, so I think that one thing, some thing that we can do. And for the one who have the local rep in Vietnam, when we have the free fair, I mean that the fair at high school, or sometimes we have the free uh, activity, we try to invite you. I know that all of you, because that we have like have to choose the someone who located in Vietnam to do that. Yeah, and of course I think that please keep in touch with me, and I think that the first the important thing is please talk with me, so we will find the solution for each institution and find the the solution for each one. And from me, I only what I do is I try to provide the knowledge and yeah, to knowledge of the counselor for about your institution.
Okay, great. I know that we're already at time, we're a little bit over, but there's two other questions left. Please feel free to leave if you need to, have other places to run to, but I think if we can just continue the recording, answer the last two questions, I think we should do that. So I'm just going to keep going. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please feel free to leave if you need. So the next question is to a source of income. Can you clarify if if you meant having enough money in the bank account is not enough, but parents have to show they have a steady stream of income in addition to having enough money to support at least the student's first year of study. So can you just talk a little bit more about the financial requirements for the regular visa process? So they need to show enough money for the first year, and they need to show a regular source of
Yeah.
income. Is
Yeah.
that?
So actually, on the IRCC website, they have a list of documents that can the student can submit, and they give that one of the student can submit one of the following document for the financial approval, like GIC, like bank statement, like yeah, and assets or renting or loan something, but
Mm-hmm.
but they're not clear that what is exactly and how amount of that, and they just state very general that about so that they have in at least enough of one for the first year of tuition fee and living cost. So
Mm-hmm.
when many of the student submit and then all of them and then reject, and we don't know why. Actually, IDP not like yeah, we try to asking the IRCC, but they just say in very general. So the
Yeah.
practice of most of the student in Vietnam that they submit all they have from their
Mm-hmm.
family, even their
Mm-hmm.
assets, even their source of income, monthly income, everything to make sure that they
Mm-hmm.
have the best chance to get the study permit.
Right. And I think because we're still waiting for outcomes from the, post STS cancellation, like students applying to the regular stream, I think we'll have perhaps better data to share or better insights to share once we've been through a round of these, visa
Yeah,
approvals. Okay. And
yeah.
the last question, um, do you see more Vietnamese students considering overseas other destinations like Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan more than before? What are we seeing?
Um, Unfortunately, I don't have the data for the Asia area because I don't see that it kind of our I mean that the student who looking for the English speaking country, they will switch to the English speaking country or European country like
Mhm,
Holland, or Germany, or Australia, or UK, or US instead of Canada.
mhm,
I don't think that because Singapore and Hong Kong and Taiwan is very have lower budget than the other country, so they still
mhm.
have many choice before choosing Asia
Okay, got
because
it.
well, yeah, that's because they have money. But for the one who at the beginning they looking for the Asia, I think that they have the plan to study, for example, Hong Kong and Taiwan. They already have planned to study English, their language already. Yeah. And Singapore, I think that I even in they speaking English, but
Mhm,
actually that still less priority than because Singapore sometimes they can find another option in Europe, maybe the same
mhm,
price, or Australia.
mhm. Yeah, Singapore is quite expensive as well.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that brings us to the end of all the questions. Sorry that we had to go over time, but thank you to everyone who stayed back. And as I mentioned, the recording as well as the slide deck will be sent to all of you. So again, please feel free to remain in touch with both Thu directly and with myself. This is her contact information again. Feel free to take a screenshot. And we look forward to hearing from you and supporting you in these challenging times. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you in Vietnam. Bye bye.